I am David Ulufayagba, and I will be your lead facilitator for this workshop today. And I sincerely hope that you will enjoy the best of today during and throughout this workshop. So, yes, the topic of the workshop today is helping struggling readers crack the reading codes. Yeah. Many times, yesterday I asked in the group chats who remembered, and I saw many responses. I saw the enthusiasm. Yes, I saw the interests. Yes, and how people were looking forward to today. So, we are here now, and we'll face it headlong. Helping struggling readers crack the reading codes. So this particular topic, it's a testament to recognize the struggles that children make when they want to read, when they are reading, or when they are making attempts to read. So they are strugglers. They struggle. And you know what comes with struggles? Yes, pain, anxiety, yeah, and lots more, disappointment, embarrassment, okay, and lots more come into play when children struggle to read. Yes, they feel anxious, they feel embarrassed because they cannot do what they're made to doing, and there is this shame that is written all over them. Okay, and when you call them out to come and read, you see some of them shying away, some of them hiding under their tables or lockers. Okay, so we have low self-esteem as well. It's one of the things that children feel, especially the struggling ones, the struggling readers. Okay, and we also have an instance of avoidance. Yeah, they feel this same. They have this sense of avoidance. They avoid reading in the public. So let's see how we. Let's have a head start. Yeah. The first that I would like to say about this one, if you can see my slide there, and it's a general question. Okay, it's a general question, and some of you might have different perspectives, yes, about this. So my question is for everyone. I'm sure that you're here today, it means that there is a particular child that is struggling with reading in your class, or many children in your entire school, or a few children. Okay, so it's a moment for us to engage. I want to engage you, and I really want to know if you understand how these children feel yourself. Yes. So, how do children who struggle with reading feel in most reading classes? Yes. How have you observed that they feel? What feelings do they have? And what are the signs that you've seen? What are the signposts that you've seen? Things that suggest to you that there is this awkward feeling about this child who is struggling to read. Perhaps I can have probably one or two persons who can tell me just in 5-10 seconds. Yes. Oh, I can see Faleye Iyabo Martha saying they cry. Wow. Wow, fantastic. Please give that person thumbs up. Please. Faleye Thank you. They cry. Yes, can we have other contributions? You can type in your answers in the platform. I mean, yes, this platform we're using, and you can type in, oh, they feel bad. Aderiko, Joke. Yes, they feel bad. Wow. Wow. So children feel bad. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, can we have more, please? I'm desirous of your contributions. Kindly come up with more. Wow. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. So it means that we identify with the feelings, the struggles, the pains of these children. And you would wonder if actually we feel and associate with the feelings of these children. And when a child cannot read, and you see a teacher beating such a child, yes, another person said they feel stigmatized. Yes, that is ostracization. They feel ostracized. Yes, and there is this way they recline. Yes, they shrink themselves. Fantastic contributions there. Yeah, see, many times engaging with teachers who have these kind of struggling readers in their classes, I find them beating these children. Someone who just got hurt, and you're still hurting the person the more. Okay, that is wrong, really. When a child cannot read, the child feels pain, feels anxious and embarrassed, and feels bad, and still we are beating such a child. That is not a good way to respond to such a situation. So, moving forward in this training, yes, this is where we will be talking. Someone said they feel hungry with themselves. Thank you for that contribution. Yes, they feel hungry. Yeah. So parts of the brain are responsible for reading. Yeah. As children teachers, as educators, we are expected to know about the functions of the brains of our children that we teach, how their brains function. Yes, most especially in learning, and that will really help us in impacting them positively. All right. So it's important we know different parts of the brain that are responsible for reading. Yeah. If you look carefully at my slide, you'll see the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, the two major parts of a human brain, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. Okay, parts of the left hemisphere, we could see parietal lobe, which is responsible for sound symbol connection. That is word analysis. That is the part of the brain that helps a child to know that A sounds A, and can associate the A sound with A, the letter symbol A. The same part of the brain is responsible for helping a child to know that, to connect B to letter B. Letter B is a symbol, a letter symbol. Okay, and the sound the letter makes is B. So, once a child has been brought up in this manner, in this way, or this part of the brain is fully developed, then such a child has fully grown into understanding that sounds make words. Yes, sounds make words. That is, there are sounds in words, okay? And letters have sounds, and these letters make specific sounds in words. Another part of the brain that is responsible for letter word recognition. For example, my name is David. I am David. Yes, if I write the first letter in my name, once a child recognizes what the letter stands for example, the shape, the sound, okay, of the letter, it means that the occipital lobe of the child has been developed, and that is the back parts of the brain. We also have the language comprehension, which is associated with temporal lobe. Okay, we have the speech sounds, which is associated with frontal lobe. So it's important, just as you drive your cars, you know that when there is a strange sound in your car or in your cars, you know what is wrong, what is faulty in your car, and you quickly call the right person or specialist to attend to it. Okay. The same way, we're expected to know how these children's brains function, most especially in learning. So that once a child can speak and that child is finding it difficult to read, it means that the right hemisphere of the child is receiving more development than the left hemisphere. Okay, so there are two parts now, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. So the right hemisphere is mostly associated with speaking, and that is when you would see children, you would see many people, they can speak very well, but when it comes to reading, they have problem with reading. What that indicates is that the right hemisphere has received better and fuller development than the left hemisphere. So it's important for us to take notes of this. And in the long run, in this workshop, I will be telling you more about how all of these work together. Okay, now, a man once said something about reading, and you can see my screen there. He said, if a child memorizes 10 words, the child can read only 10 words. If you agree, please drop yes in the comment section. Yes. Very good. If a child memorizes 10 words, the child can only, look at that carefully. Only read only 10 words. That is, the child can read only 10 words. But if a child learns the sounds of 10 letters, thank you. If a child learns the sounds of 10 letters, the child will be able to read 353 sound words. Wow. What's an exponential multiplication there? Yeah. Okay, the person said 353 sound words, 4,324 sound words, and 21,655 sound words. So this shows that children are able to read accurately and independently if they have been taught the sounds of letters, not using names of letters to teach them, not saying a, and or you want to spell to them rather, or we want them to read, and all we are teaching them is to write a set of words, probably 20, 50, 100, and tell them to memorize the words. This is not the best way to teach children to read. One of the best ways that has been practiced so far and has yielded excellent results is to teach children the sounds that those letters make in words. So, for instance, you want a child to learn S-A-T. That's sat, the past tense of sit. Do you know that from the word sat, once the child is able to master the sounds in that word, S as in S, A as in A, T as in T, the child can then translate the same knowledge of the sounds, okay, to other aspects of learning to read. Now, you can inverse the letters in this and in that word by placing T or removing S. Remove the letter S from sat. You will be left with two letters. So it will now tell you if the child is able to say the two sounds, that's, at as a word, without getting confused. It means the phonemic ability of the child has been developed. So it's important that we walk children through this approach, teaching them the sounds of letters. Now, I have an exercise on the screen. Look at that. And that exercise is about the power of alphabetic codes. All right. So it's a very quick practice that I'm going to give to all of you. Yes, what you will do is to kindly drop your answers in the comment section in the charts. All right. Look carefully at the letters you see on the screen. They are sounds to me. Okay, I call them sounds. So the first one is S, and the second one is A. The third is T. The fourth is I. And the fifth is P. While the last one is All right, so Your job now is to give as many words as you can, form as many words as you can from what you can see on your screen. If you are very good at typing, you can go ahead to type. And if you would like to probably say those words, I can just give you probably 5-10 seconds to say them. All I just want you to do is to raise your hand so that I can tell you to unmute your mic and speak. And if you can quickly type them in the chat section of the workshop, so you can do that very quickly. So how many words are you able to form from these letter sounds? Yes, let's see who has the best, the most words. You are not to add any letter sounds outside these ones. Yes, don't bring any letter sounds outside these ones, just these ones, that's all right. Yes, so let's see, just in 2 minutes. All right, your time is reading. Wow, fantastic. I'm seeing responses already. I'm seeing responses already. Keep your answers coming in. Thank you. Keep your answers coming in. Wow, fantastic. I could see many. Wow. Look at people. Wow, so brilliant. Wow. Excellent. Really. Say we have, okay, I think you have just 1 minute more. Wow. Time up. Time up. Thank you. That's the magic. Now you can see that your responses just corroborated what Dr. Martin said in my slide, right? If a child memorizes 10 words, the child can read only 10 words. But if a child learns the sounds of 10 letters, the child will be able to read 353 sound words, 4,324 sounds words, and 21,655 sound words. Wow, what's an exponential multiplication there? So this is the magic that happens when children are taught the sounds of letters. Because they have learned how to say the sounds of these letters, they are able to make words, to read words regardless of the positions the letters take or the sounds take in those words. They are able to read them. That's the magic of teaching children how to read with sounds. All right. I also want to mention a few things about reading. Please permit me. Yes. That Children who can read at their early stages have capacity to learn and understand with little or no effort from adults. That's one thing about reading early with children. They barely struggle to understand logic because their horizons have been broadened by early exposures to letters, sounds, words, sentences, and other sequences. Likewise, early reading reduces reliance on adult supervision. Yes. For example, if your child is able to read early, that will reduce his or her level of reliance on you, always, on your support, always, each time. Mommy, I see a new word. What is this word? How is it pronounced? For children that have been taught how to read with sounds, okay, this level of reliance becomes reduced rather, and it increases their sense of independency by their ability to find solutions, get new information to solve their problems. So I would say that it's important to get on the job of teaching children, yes, how to read early, especially teaching them with the use of letter sounds. All right. So furthering in this workshop, we'll look at the alphabetic codes. Yes, we look at the alphabetic codes of the English language. You can see the screen there. You see different letter sounds, and many times you see these letter sounds occurring in words. All right, we have many of them. All right, and then in this group of sounds, you have initial sounds. You have digraphs. Yes, digraphs are two letters that come together to make one sound in word, such as the A and I sounding A. Okay, you have O and A sounding O. I and E sounding I. E and E sounding E. O and R sounding O. Okay, and many others like that we have. Okay, all of these are letter sounds. We have other ones. Yeah, we have other ones with A-E. The hyphen there shows that there is a consonant letter that is to come in between A and E. So if you add C, put C in the middle of A and E, who can tell me what you're likely to get? If you put C, letter C, between A and E, what is the word? Can somebody write out the word? If you're sure about it, can you type out the word you're going to have there? If you add C in between A and E. Wow, fantastic. Okay, can you also add P? Yeah, between A and E. Add P between A and E. What are you likely going to have? Yes. Who is typing there? Somebody mentioned a word the other time about A hyphen E. That's C coming between A and E. That's Ace. Good. Ace. It doesn't change the sound, actually. It doesn't change the sound. It's Ace. A. So the sound of A hyphen E is A. So by the time you add C, in between A and E, you have ace. Remove C and add P. You have ape, right? Very good. Now, in your ace, add P before A. In your ace, add P before A. What are you going to get? You get pace. Okay, try and add L after P. What are you going to get? You get place. Wow, fantastic. I've seen many contributions on the platform. Wow, that's great. So you can move on to another sound, which is E-E. E-E, and that is E. E-E, that is E. Please, can someone put V between E-E? What do you have there? You have what? Can you please type your response in the chat? Very good. Very good. Who's typing? Okay. You put letter V as in van. Put that letter between E hyphen E. Just remove the hyphen and put your letter V there. You will have a word there. And the word you're going to have is Eve. Thank you, Taiwo Isaac. Yes, you have Eve. Thank you, Abdul Fattah Mariam. All right, you have Eve. Now, can you remove the V, put M there. Letter M. Yes. Now put another M before the first E. Put another M before the first E. So you have M, E, M, E. So what word is that? And tell me if the sound changes or not. Does that word affect the sound? You remember the original sound? The original sound is E. That's the original sound. So putting M before the first E and M before the second E so that you can have M, E, M, E. Does that word change the original sound? Does it change the original sound? If yes, say yes in the chat. If no, say no. Let's see how many no's we have and how many yeses we have. Yes. Does the word change the sound? Does it change the sound? Let's see how many yeses we have and how many no's we have. Okay, I'm waiting for your responses, please. And if you, okay, it doesn't change, no changes. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I'm seeing no. I've seen some no's here. Very good. Okay, that's all for now because of the time. All right, so the letter M that we added doesn't change the sound. So how would you pronounce the word? Can I have one participant to unmute his or mic to now pronounce the word? How would you pronounce that word that you said doesn't? Okay.
Okay.
Something
It's pronounced as
chosen.
meme. Meme.
Hello? I thought something chosen wanted to speak.
Hello.
Ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Yes, sir. It's pronounced as meme.
Let's take it
Yes,
one
sir.
by one. If I call your name, unmute your mic
Hello.
and speak. If I do not call you, please do not speak. I beg you. Let's have a well-organized class. Say, something chosen. You want to go first? All right. I'm not hearing from something chosen. What about Durolaje Damilola, please?
Hello. Hello, sir. Ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am.
Again.
Ma'am. Ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Okay, Abdurrahman Olanino, it's your turn to speak.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's going to be meme, sir. Meme.
All right, that's a good one there. Thank you for your contribution. Yeah, so that is it. The sound the word will make is meme. So it doesn't change the sound. Okay, the sound of the digraph. That's E. The same thing goes for all the letter sounds in this form. Okay, like you have U-E, O-E, I-E. The I-E is I. So if you put letter C between I and I and E, I beg your pardon, you have eyes. Very good, Isaac Taiwo. Thank you, Rukaya Tuluatoyin, for that. Very good of you. So that's what we can have. Now, you have seen that if we are able to teach these children how to say these sounds, letter sounds, and how to make use of them, we are going to be helping them in a lot of ways to gain confidence in reading. They can read anything because we have given them the tools that they need for this. All right. The next we're going to be looking at is the 5 skills in reading. What are the 5 skills in reading? The first skill is phonemic awareness, and that is the ability to know that letters make sounds. That is where we start with children. Every child needs to know that letters make sounds because we use sounds of letters to read. While some of you perhaps were growing up, you weren't taught that these letters made these sounds or those sounds. Perhaps the way you were taught was your teachers would write words on the board for you and would be reading out those words to you, and your teacher would expect you to come to the board after he or she had taught you those words, and he or she would ask you to come and to come and read those words, which of course did not help many of you. But we have seen today that this approach has really really helps children, that they know that these letters make these sounds. The second skill in reading is phonics. Please, something, mute your mic, please. That is affecting the class here. Thank you. All right, so the second one is phonics, and that is how sounds are represented by letters. So children need to know that certain sounds are represented by letters, okay, such as A is represented by letter A, okay, and A is represented by letter U, and you have G represented by letter G. So this aspect is called phonics, and that is how sounds are represented by letters. The next one is fluency. That's the next one we are looking at, fluency. And that is ability to connect sounds to letters easily and quickly. So once children have mastered their phonemic awareness, that is, they have the ability to know that letters make sounds, and they know that these sounds are represented by letters, then they are able to connect the sounds to letters easily and quickly without much struggle. We have children suffering at different stages of learning to read. Some, it's at the phonemic level, we have some at the phonics level, and we have others at the fluency level. Now, finally, is vocabulary, that is ability to learn new words and their meanings. So it means that when children are able to gain phonemic awareness, they are able to gain ability of phonics, fluency ability. All these three results into vocabulary development for them. Yes. So they come across new words, they are exposed to new words and their meanings, and they are able to go on from one level to another level in their journey of reading. So we have another one, which is comprehension, which is the last one, I beg you. So that's ability to understand written texts. So all of this contributes to complete literacy in children. So let's look at the reading ladder now. Yes, what are the reading steps? For you to start teaching a child to read, what the child to? The first thing is letter sounds. You expose children to letter sounds. You let them know that letters make sounds. After they have mastered their letter sounds, they've known that these letters make these sounds. Then you move them to a higher level. You move them to a greater level by bringing these letter sounds together to form words. Just as we did in the game that we played the other time, forming different words from different letter sounds. So blending letter sounds is the next stage. So the first stage is learning letter sounds. The second stage is blending these letter sounds together to form words, followed by reading fluency, That is, they are able to read words, probably in a sentence or in a line of in lines of paragraphs. Okay, then we move on to the meanings of those words. If you want children to learn how to read, you do not focus first on meanings. You focus first on the sounds of letters, how to bring letter sounds together, okay, to form words, and how to read those words. Then you move them to another level, which is vocabulary, that's / word meaning. Okay, they are able to know what meanings those words that they have read have. The last one is comprehension. So when meaning sinks, that's when comprehension comes. So those are the levels of reading, the stages you take children through when you are teaching them reading. Now, let's talk about phonemic and phonological awareness. Okay. Speaking of phonemic awareness, we are talking about ability to recognize that, phonological awareness, ability to recognize that letters make sounds. That's first. They are able to understand that letters make sounds. And that is one aspect of phonological awareness. The next one is children are able to know that words are made up of sounds. So when they see words, what comes to their mind is not to spell the letters in those words. What comes to their mind is the sounds. Okay, they say out the sounds of new words in an attempt to read them. So it means that the phonological ability in those children has been developed. The next one is that they are also able to know that words can be broken into syllables. That is, we have words, and in those words are syllables. In those syllables are sounds, or say, in those syllables are letters, and those letters in those syllables make sounds. Now, followed by rhymes. That's another skill. That's phonological skill. So when we are helping struggling readers to crack the reading codes, we must first take them through these phonological skills. Okay, the first on the list is they need to know letters make sounds. They need to know that sounds make up words. They need to know that words can be broken into syllables. That is, those syllables form words. All right. Then we take them on to rhymes in words. For example, you have ban, you have pan, you have sun, you have tan, you have man. You would see that in those words that I've mentioned, we have word rhymes in them. All of those words rhyme, okay, especially in the middle and at the end. So when children are able to know that This word rhymes another word. It means they have developed their phonological skills. All right. The last one is positions of sounds in words. For example, let's say I have sit and I want to make the word into bit. So which sound would I change to make sit bits? Is the sound at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end? Definitely. If a child is able to tell you that it's in the beginning, you make a change. That is, it's very good, Abdul Fattah Miriam. That's at the beginning. So when a child is able to recognize positions of letter sounds in words, it means that you are a step close to helping that child come out of his or her reading difficulty. So those are the phonological skills that you are expected to walk your children through, especially children who are finding reading very difficult. Now, the next thing is phonemic awareness. Just like I have told you, the first stage is phonological awareness. That is ability to know that letters make sounds and words are made up of sounds. So you now progress the children to a higher level. And that is the level of phonemic awareness. So what's the first skill that you need to teach children at this stage, at this level? That's ability to blend, ability to bring different letter sounds together to form words. So the knowledge of reading doesn't end with just knowing how to say the letter sounds. So you are not teaching children to just know how to say the letter sounds alone, but you are teaching them to be able to combine, bring together these letter sounds to make words. If your children are able to say the letter sounds correctly and accurately, kudos for that. But the job doesn't end there. You have to take the job on, take the work on, take the step on to blending sounds together to form words. The next skill, that's phonemic skill, is sound segmenting. So when you give a child a word, if a child is able to segment that word into different sounds, then we say the phonemic skill of that child has been developed. So the next one is sound deletion. Yeah, these are activities that you can practice with children. Okay, if I remove s from sat, what do I have? That is, you write on the board. and write sat on the board, delete the first sound in sat. Ask children to say the remaining word. Ask them what remains of the word. If they are able to tell you, then it means that they are developing their phonemic awareness. The next one is sound substitution. That is replacing sounds in words for children. It's like a game for them. All right, so you remove from sat. You now replace that with p. What do you have there? That is pat. Remove the p and replace it with remove p and replace it with What do you have? That is mat. So you can go on and on and on, replacing, changing those sounds, especially at the beginning. All what you're doing there is to develop their phonemic skills, to develop their phonemic awareness, their phonemic ability. And when they are able to do this, they can read on their own without your supervision. And that is why you will see children with phonics background, when they go out and they see signposts, instead of them to spell words on signposts, what they do is they make sounds in the words that they see. Rather than spelling them, they use sounds to pronounce them. So that is the advantage that children who have been taught phonics have over their peers, over those who do not have such a background. So it goes beyond memorizing letters, memorizing words, okay? It goes beyond that. It goes on to you having the ability to independently read words on your own with no one's supervision. Very good. So let's look at some difficulties in children. Difficulties that children have. Yes. What are these reading difficulties? We should be able to identify these reading difficulties in children. The first difficulty is that they have trouble remembering sequences. All right, that's the first difficulty that is often identified with children. That is, when you say and you've told them it's sat. By the time you ask them again, they won't be able to remember the sequence. That is, s comes before a, and a comes before t. So what some of them would say is at or tas, instead of them to say sat. So they have problem remembering sequences. Number two problem that they can have is they can be able to read a word on a page, but will recognize it on the next page. And that is why when you're teaching children, if you have written a word on a particular page for them, and the same word written on another page, they find it difficult. They have trouble recognizing that it's the same word that the same word you taught them, that you put in another page. The third trouble they have, the third difficulty is these children, they know that letters make sounds, all right? In fact, some of them, they can blend, they can put letter sounds together into words. But the problem they have is that when they come across unknown words, they come across new words, they won't be able to sound those words out. That's one of the difficulties they experience. All right, let's move on to another difficulty. Children with reading difficulties, or children who have struggle reading or cracking the reading codes. When you call them to come and read, they read in a low and chubby cadence. So what they do is, when they see probably a sentence of 10 words or 5 words, they can break the sentence into 10 words or into 10 phrases or 5 phrases before they can finish reading a sentence. So let's say they have, Mommy has a new car parked in the park. All right. If you ask them to read that sentence, they have trouble in joining those words together in a smooth manner and break sentences into pieces unnecessarily. And that is why it takes a very long time for a struggling reader to complete a sentence of 10 words. Now, the next one is struggling readers also have what we call directionality confusion. Yeah, they can't, if you ask them, okay, you've taught them that B sounds B, and you want them to write the letter that makes B sound, they may end up writing letter D for you. And that is an evidence that such children have what we call directionality confusion. And this shows up when reading and writing most often times. Okay, the next one is that they have trouble standing out new words and quickly recognizing new words. These are troubles that children face. These are the pains that they face every day they are confronted with reading. The next is they have trouble remembering how words are spelled and how to apply spelling rules in writing. We have avoidance. That's another difficulty they have. And this avoidance is a result of frustration internal frustration that they have because they've been trying to make attempts, but each time they make attempts, they just see themselves failing. And so the next thing to do for them is to avoid any possibility of reading. And that's why when you call them to come and read, you see them shrinking. You see them just moving away from any situation that can expose them. That's the pain they face. We have this omission and substitution of words while reading. This happens to adults too. When you have a text in front of you to read, okay, when some adults rather have a text in front of them to read, they omit words, some other substitute words. These are challenges, these are difficulties, reading difficulties that are present both in children and in adults. Because I have seen many adults having this same problem, having this same difficulty. Yes, you will see something clearly written, boldly written, and you will still be omitting words. Some people even omit sounds. Some people substitute. These are symptoms of reading difficulties that we should pay attention to even in ourselves, not only in children. All right. We have other ones like slow reading speed, transposing letters in words. We have reversal of words while reading. Okay, we have inability to recognize letters in their names. We have trouble learning common rhymes. We have mispronunciation of familiar words. These are often reading difficulties that are common in children. All right, we also have some others like trouble blending known letter sounds to form words. We have omitting and adding sounds in words, especially sounds that are not present in words. You see them adding those sounds, and sounds that are even present, you see them omitting them in words. This is one of the symptoms of reading difficulties in children. Okay, we also have problems associating letters with sounds. We have some children with this problem. Yes, they can't associate letters with sounds. So when you ask them, what sound does this letter make? They have trouble associating letters with sounds. Now, let's move on to contributing factors. What are the contributing factors? What are the things that actually cause these difficulties, these problems? Okay, we should be able to find out. The first one is lack of motivation or interest. Oftentimes, this is caused by teachers in the class or parents at home. Yes, they are failed to identify what interests the child, what motivates the child. And the way they go about teaching reading doesn't motivate children, doesn't interest children. So children, they lack motivation, they lack interest. And such a lack of motivation can result to reading difficulties, because what a child does not have interest in, such child might have difficulty in learning it. So it boils down to teachers and parents to find the learning styles in children and find ways to motivate them, to interest them into learning. The second factor is poor instruction. Yes, when instruction is not properly given in the class, this can affect children. And this contributes to reading difficulties in children. Poor instruction. When children are not adequately instructed, appropriately instructed about what to do, if you don't know what you're doing as a teacher, teaching children how to read, you might contribute to the child's problem even more or complicate the situation. So the kind of instruction you give to children can either make them or mar them. Another factor is age/ability. There are some children that they have different capacity ranges. Some children, they are 2 years, 3, 4, and 5, and even more. Okay, and you find them still struggling, even at the age of 5, still struggling to read. Lessons, instructions must be in accordance with age and ability. That is, you give children what their age and ability can take per time. We have children of 3, we can blend letter sounds, and we have children of probably 8 or 7 who cannot even blend. So, if care is not taken, considering the age range and the ability range of children, this can affect their reading ability. Let's look at intelligence. That's another factor, okay, or low cognitive capacity. This can also contribute to reading difficulties in children. Language processing disorder, emotional factors. For example, if a child is undergoing a trauma or passing through a trauma, this can affect a child or that child from being able to read. Other factors include lack of reading practice. When this has not become a regular exercise, it's not something you do oftentimes, either at home or in the school. It can affect their reading ability. We also have developmental factors such as speech delays. Yes, I remember in one of my workshops in Abuja, yes, a particular aspect of reading was conducted, and I had the privilege of meeting this the mother of this child who had issues with reading, and thankfully she narrated a story about this child. The child, while he was around 3, the child could not speak. So this affected the child from developing his reading skills early enough. So developmental factors such as speech delays can contribute to reading difficulties in children. We also have visual processing issues. Yes, that's children who have low visual memory. Yes, they can't remember what they have seen before. And that is why when you are teaching them, when you're teaching children with this poor visual processing, okay, when you write for them what they have seen, in a on a particular page, just write the same thing on another page. They can't remember it. That shows that they have poor visual memory or low visual memory. And there are ways you can help children with such visual processing issues. Okay, auditory processing issues. This, of course, is another factor that contributes to reading difficulties in children. Yes, when you say a particular sound to them and you ask them to say it back to you, it's a different sound they heard. It's not the same sound you said in the first place. So they will say a different sound. So it means that there is a problem with their auditory sense, and it has to be worked upon. The next is ADHD. The full meaning of this is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Yes, and one of the symptoms of this ADHD is their instability. They are not stabilized. Children with this kind of condition are not stabilized in the class. Yes, when you say A, they have moved on to B, even before you say B. And many of them are unsettled. They keep moving around in the class. They disturb the class. They can't just sit in one place to learn. They move around a lot. The next one is school setup. When your school is not properly set up to enhance reading skills in children, this can affect them negatively. Your classroom, the environment, what about your policies and your strategies? Class placement, all of these are contributing factors. So you must check carefully, is your environment supporting children to learn how to read? What about your policies? Are they supporting children, okay, on learning how to read? What about your strategies? Your classroom strategies, your teaching strategies, your teaching methodologies. Yes, how are they contributing to these difficulties in children? So all of these are important for you to check, okay, when dealing with children with reading difficulties. All right, I also have other words such as family life. For instance, finance can be a problem, education level, or history. Some parents don't know that the inability of their children to read, okay, might actually come from them, because some of these difficulties can be inherited from parents. Okay, if you as a parent, while you were growing up, you have difficulty or you encountered difficulty in reading, there is a likelihood, yes, that your children, or one of them, it might not be all of them, probably one or two of them might want to tap from that problem. So it's important you take careful notes of the development and the growth of your children as they are growing, as they are learning, so that if they are bringing out traits that you had experienced, you would quickly do something about it. So, family history can be a contributing factor. Yes, I think the last one I have here is dyslexia. Yes, that is reading difficulty. Yes, it can be present in children, it can be present in adults. So it's not only children that have dyslexia. We have adults with dyslexia as well. And those, what was it called now? The difficulties I mentioned, those difficulties I mentioned before, the contributing factors, they are the symptoms of dyslexia. So in case you wonder, all right, what is dyslexia and how would you know if someone has dyslexia or if someone is dyslexic? Those are the symptoms. Those are the things you are likely to see or experience in children. So, having mentioned all of these difficulties, is there a way out? Please, there is a way out. Yeah, and that is why we have this section of the slide, of the training, of the workshop, that is intervention plans. What are the intervention plans that you can put in place? Yes, the first thing is to conduct a comprehensive reading assessment. Yeah, conduct a comprehensive reading assessment. That is the first thing. When you are unsure about the reading skills of your children in your class, then get a reading sheet for them. Give them the same passage. Let them read. And you begin to observe, you begin to see some of the difficulties, some of the things that I mentioned earlier in them. And once you have them, okay, then you would know what to do. After the comprehensive reading assessment, while you are doing the comprehensive reading, administering the assessment, you need to be able to identify specific areas of difficulty. That is screening now. So, is this person having a difficulty blending sounds makers, or a child is having issue with reading words that he or she already knows? Okay, followed by setting goals. You set goals for them. Okay, for you, I have identified your problem. So you focus on the problem of that child. If it is recognizing letter sounds, you focus on how to recognize letter sounds. If it is saying the letter sounds, you focus on how to say the letter sounds. So make sure that you set clear and achievable reading goals for your class. All right. Let's move on to another aspect, that is adapting instructional materials. Fine, you have textbooks that you use. You can adapt them so that they will be suitable for children who are having reading difficulties. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say in your class, you are to read probably a passage on the earth. All right. And you have some children who are having issues with reading. The first thing you are going to do is to give the passage or the textbooks to those children. Do not read to them first. Let them read first. And as they are reading, have a sheet of paper for each child. And when each child is reading, the difficult words in the passage that the child cannot read, you would now be writing them down, probably in a note or on the sheet of paper that you have prepared. Okay, so after they are done reading, You can now teach them all of those difficult words, how to blend them, the sounds that the letters in those words make. All right. You teach them how to say the sounds, how to blend the sounds, and how to say or read the words. That's how you can adapt instructional materials for reading exercise or reading activities in your school or your class. Then you can also provide them differentiated instruction. Different children have different problems. Okay, for Aminu may not be able to say, may have difficulty saying sounds of letters. Atinuke, that is not a problem. A problem is blending letter sounds together. It means Aminu and Atinuke have different problems. So you cannot use the same approach to help Aminu out of his problem and Atinuke out of a problem. What Aminu needs is that you teach Aminu first how to say the letter sounds, how to recognize them. Then you teach Atinuke how to blend those letter sounds together. So you give them differentiated instruction. Then as you go on, you can now begin to monitor their progress regularly. So if Aminu has been able to read or recognize his letter sounds, okay, you know that the next stage for Aminu is to start blending, is to start putting those letter sounds together into words. While for Atinuke has been able to blend letter sounds together into words. What's the next stage for Atinuke? The next stage for Atinuke is now to put different words together. You write a sentence and you teach Atinuke to read the words that she has blended. So that's where you are having good instruction for them. You can also make adjustments and modify some of the plans that you have for them as they progress. You can also collaborate with parents. For schools, I always encourage them. Collaborate with your parents. Yes, and if you want to collaborate with parents, you must have targets, you must have aims, you must have what you want parents to help you to achieve in children. It means you can have reading exercises, you can have probably blending exercises for a child who is having difficulty with blending. You now give such a child blending exercises to take home, and you inform the parents that we are working on the reading of your child, okay, and this is the level we are, so we want you to please kindly take it further with your child at home. And such child will be receiving instruction both at home and in the school, and then you'll see that there will be massive results at the end of the day. Then you can provide ongoing support. Provide ongoing support and motivation. Regularly evaluate and reflect. Okay, many times as children make progress in their learning, they will be exhibiting some other difficulties. So you evaluate and you reflect on your methodologies. This is important. That's okay. This methodology that I am using with this child, is it working with this child? Maybe I need to adjust. Okay, maybe I need to check the steps that I am taking, okay, in this particular approach. So you don't say a methodology doesn't work, okay, until you have tested. You've tried the methodology many times, even with some other children. Okay, we understand that there are some children that require other other methodologies, okay, or differentiated instructions to help them gain fluency or reading ability. So let's look at other aspect. Let me see. Achieving success. Yeah, it's important you have what we call IEP. IEP means individualized educational plans or individualized education plans. We can also call it ILP, individualized learning plans. This is important. All children cannot be the same. Please take note of this. Children learn at different levels. They have different motivations. They have different styles. We have children who are visual. So you don't use auditory approach to teach children who are visual, who learn only by what they see. And there are some children who are kinesthetic. They like moving around. So you don't just show them what you're teaching them, or you say to them what you're teaching them. They must also be part of what you're teaching. They want to act it out. They want to do the same thing that you are doing. Okay, so we have different learning styles in children. And when you want to come up with individualized learning plans or individual learning plans, you must be able to know the strengths and the weaknesses of the children, okay, so that you can have a robust instructional plan for them. The next one is parents sensitization workshop. That is, if you want to achieve success, yes, with all of these that I have mentioned, okay, first is come up with individual learning plans. Second, come up with parent sensitization workshop. You can do it individually. You can do it corporately. Okay, if a child is having problem with reading, call the attention of the parent of that child to that difficulty. Okay, and before you do that, make sure you have a ready-made plan, what you want to do, and what areas the parents would be involved in solving the problem. So you can have parents sensitization workshop where parents would be made to know the problems that their children are facing, especially in reading. Then you can set up what I call literacy intervention units, where you have children who have similar reading problems, okay, combined together in a single class, and you give them special reading instructions. So children who are having difficulty with blending, they will be combined together, and you have someone, an expert, who will teach them how to blend. And when you do that, you make sure you have timeline. Okay, that is, in this week, this is what I want these children to be able to blend. In 1 month, I want these children to be able to do this and this. I want them to be able to blend 20, 100, 500 words or something like that. And once they have been able to learn the blending, they have been able to blend, then you can use the words that they have learned to blend to form sentences. That works for them to improve their fluency. All right. Then the next one is having comprehensive training for your teachers. I always advise this. Have comprehensive training programs for your teachers. Many times I've come across teachers who are enthusiastic about helping children to read, but they don't just know how to. For example, imagine a teacher who doesn't know the letter sounds of the English alphabet, and you expect such a such a teacher to teach a child to read? Does it work that way? I'm sorry, it doesn't. So it's important that teachers rather, are trained to know how to teach children how to read. For you as a teacher, it's important you have a comprehensive training. Yes. This particular, what's it called? The letters of the English alphabet. Do you know the sounds they make? Do you know how blending is done? Do you know how to teach children to read fluently? All of these you need to be trained in so as to achieve excellent results. All right. As I am capping off this afternoon, I want to tell you that it's important you are able to identify learning styles in children. Yes. Children have ways to learn. And as teachers or instructors or coaches, literacy coaches, school administrators, okay, teachers must be trained on how to identify children with different or varied learning styles. Okay, we have some children that are visual, so we call them visual learners. And how do these children learn? They learn by what they see. They learn by showing them a video. They learn by showing them a flashcards. They learn by seeing charts. Okay, they learn by seeing mostly. Those children are visual learners, and you'll be seeing signs in your school. You'll be seeing signs in your class. When you hold a flashcard, you will see that every child or some children or a child might want to see what you have on that card. It means that child is a visual learner. We have some children who are auditory learners. Yes, they want to hear rhymes, songs, okay, sounds. They just want to hear you speak. They want to hear songs. They want to listen to rhymes and songs. We know that these children, this type of children, are auditory learners. Yes, because they are mostly inclined to listening to audio files, audio tapes. Yes, so these are activities that you might need to practice with them. There are 5 senses. Okay, we have the sense of seeing, sense of hearing, sense of touching, sense of taste, sense of smell. Okay, so putting all these senses together and drawing out different activities that cater to each sense needs. Okay, you are able to create what we call an inclusive class, where you have a class of mixed children, especially children of different learning styles. Okay, there are children in your class who are who are visual. There are some who are auditory. There are some who are kinesthetic. We have some who are olfactory. Okay, we have varied of them. Varied styles of them like that. So what you do is to include and make sure as you're planning your lessons, you have different activities that appeal to different senses, so that auditory child in your class will gain, visual child in your class will also gain, kinesthetic child in your class will also gain. A child who loves to move around, who loves to do, what you are doing. You know that the child, wants to play a role in what you're doing. So you can engage them in all of these. These are what we call multi-sensory activities. That is, engaging multiple senses, giving different activities that appeal to different senses in children in order to aid learning is what we call multi-sensory approach. So finally, we have been able to talk about phonemic and phonological awareness and the skills that you practice with children. Okay, what are the skills that we expect children to exhibit to show that they are phonemically aware or they are phonologically aware? We've also been able to talk about different reading difficulties in children, the signs that you are to look for. Yeah, and we spoke about factors contributing to reading difficulties in children. Okay, what about the intervention plans? I told you what you are to do when you have children with reading difficulties and the steps you are to take. All right, then learning styles. Yes. Learning styles about, we spoke about multisensory activities. What are the learning styles? There are different activities you can practice with children, such as visual activities. Yes, you can use connecting the dots. You can use sound puzzle. You can use sound sorting. Yeah, and we also have auditory activities, such as naming, picture game. Yes, you can also use clapping method. Yes, and the only place you can use all of this is when you are teaching them letter sound recognition. Okay, you can also use repetition. You can use rhymes. You can use songs. Okay, in Jolly Phonics, we have songs. Yeah, for different letter sounds. Yeah, for children who are easily demotivated, you can use jolly songs to enliven them and to just make them come back to life. Okay, we have some activities such as kinesthetic activities you can use, such as gestures, playing cards, making puppets, designing. These are kinesthetic activities. Activities that engage children. Yes, that make children to be active participants in what you are